Hello friends, myself Dr. Nidhi Darbari on My Education Treasure, and today I am going to explain about the four Vedas. The four Vedas are Rigveda, YAJURVEDA, SAMAVEDA and ATHARVAVEDA. The Rigveda. Of the four Vedas, the Rigveda is the most oldest religious text not only to the history of India but also of the world. It is oldest text in any Indo-European language between 1500 BC to 1000 BC. It must have been compiled over several centuries. These were passed on from the teacher to the disciple orally. It is believed that it is not man-made but was sent by God. The different parts or mandals are ascribed to different families of seers, example Gautama and Kanva. It is the foundation of all Vedic literature. The Rigveda is neither a historical nor a heroic poem but is mainly a collection of hymns by priestly families. The hymns addressed to various gods such as Agni, Indra, etc. are recited at the time of sacrificial rites and other rituals. The Rig Veda contains 1028 hymns or suktas and supplemented by 11 others called Valakhyas, which are divided into 10 mandals and sometimes into ashtak. Its 1028 hymns are divided into 10,522 verses. The total mantra in Rig Veda are 10,600. The Rig Veda is divided into 21 sections. It is divided into books, mandals or chapters, subdivided into 85 subsections. Mandal 2 to 7 are considered to be the earliest of all compositions. The number of verses varies from hymn to hymn. It incorporates a variety of subjects having important bearing on our daily life as householders engaged in such other professions, polity and religion. Book or Mandal 2 by Gritsamand. Book or Mandal 3 by Vishwamitra. Book or Mandal 4 by Vamdev. Book or Mandal 5 by Atri. Book or Mandal 6 by Bharadwaj. Book or Mandal 7 by Vashisht are regarded earliest. Book or Mandal 8 attributes to the family of Rishi Kanva. Book or Mandal 1 and 10 contains Soma hymns. The book or Mandal 10 of Rig Veda is Purush Sukta, in which one shlok refers to the four varnas, the origin of caste system in India. Purush Sukta says it was Lord Brahma, the creator, who created caste system from his own body but from different organs. Brahmins were created from the Brahman head. Kshatriya were created from Brahma's shoulders. Vaishya were created from Brahma's thighs. Shudra were created from Brahma's feet. Of these books, 2 and 3 are also known as family books. Mandal 3 of Rig Veda contains universally famous Gayatri mantra in praise of sun goddess Savitri. The 1 and 10 mandal are the youngest and the largest books. They are said to have been added later as their language differs likely from other 8 mandals. 2 to 7 mandal are older parts of Rig Veda but the shortest books. 8 and 9 are of Middle Ages. Rishis who were expert in Rig Veda are called Hotra or Hotri. There are 5 divisions of Rig Veda, namely Sakala, Baskala, Asvalyana, Sankhyana and Mandukya. It has many things in common with Vendavasta, which is the oldest text in Iranian language. Rig Veda is purely a religious work and most of the hymns are all invocations to God. Rig Veda is also known as First Testament of mankind. It also says that the current birth depends on previous births. Rig Veda is regarded as the sacred text of Hinduism. It has fascinated the scholars and historians due to its significance. It is a collection of ancient Indian Vedic Sanskrit hymns. The Rig Vedic hymns were collected by Paila under the guidance of Vyas. The Rishi family of Angira has comprised 35% of the hymns and the Kanva family composed around 25%. Many verses of the Rig Veda are still being used as very significant part of the Hindu prayers and rituals. As per the Vedic hymns, the entire universe has originated from Prajapati, the initial god can be compared to Zeus in Greek mythology, and this forms the principle of basic creation. Indra is the chief deity, king of kingdom of heaven, cited in the hymns of Rigveda. The sky god Varun, fire god Agni, and the sun god Surya were some of the other chief deities mentioned in various hymns of the Rigveda. There is a lot of emphasis on Lord Shiva, but Lord Vishnu, who is one of the three Murti of Hindu pantheon of God, is cited as a minor deity according to the Rigveda. Yajurveda. The Yajurveda is the Vedic collection of sacrificial prayers, yajus, which means sacrificial formula, manual of Advaryu priests. Advaryu priests were the people who prepared the ground and the altar, offered the sacrificial victim, and poured out the libations. It prescribes the procedure to be adopted at the time of performing different sacrifices. Of the four Vedas, Yajurveda reflects the Vedic sacrificial prayers consisting of various mantra or hymns for the purpose of recitation and rules to be observed at the time of sacrifice in ritual character. Yajus means sacrificial formula, and Yajurveda is the book of sacrificial prayers consisting of various mantra hymns for the purpose of recitation and rules to be observed at the time of sacrifice. It is estimated to have been composed between 1400 BC and 1000 BC. World's oldest prose literature of the Indo-Europeans is contained in Yajurveda. There are two main texts or major divisions of Yajurveda, White or Shukla Yajurveda and Black or Krishna Yajurveda. White or Shukla Yajurveda or Vajasneyi, Madhyandin and Kanva are two existing versions. The Samhita in the Shukla Yajurveda is called Vajasneyi Samhita. Out of 16, only two recensions of Shukla Yajurveda have survived. Madhyandin and Kanva both are nearly same except for minor differences. At a later date, other scholars called Vajasneyins separated the explanatory matter from the verses to be recited and hence were called the White Shukla Yajurveda. Black or Krishna Yajurveda. Tetreyi, Kathaka, Maitrani and Kapisthala are four existing versions. It is a collection of short magic spells used by a certain class of priests at the time of sacrifices. The chief recensions of this is that taught by a school of teachers called Tetrayins. The Krishna Yajurveda includes the Brahman prose discussions within the Samhita, that is, it has no Brahman, while the Shukla Yajurveda has a separate Brahman text, the Shatpat Brahman. The term black implies the unarranged collection of verses in contrast to the white, which implies the well-arranged and clear Yajurveda. The best known and best preserved of these recensions is the Taittiriya Samhita, written by Titri, a pupil of Yaksh, and mentioned by Panini, and the oldest one is Maitrani Samhita. Patanjali, the grammarian, refers to 101 school of Yajurveda. The maximum number of commentaries is written in Yajurveda. Yajurveda has verses spread over 40 chapters known as Adhyayas. 12th chapter is the biggest one with 117 verses and 39th chapter is the shortest with only 13 verses. In contrast to the first two, Rigveda and Samaveda, which are entirely in verse, this one is in both verse and prose. Differences in Shukla Yajurveda and Krishna Yajurveda. Madhyandin and Kanva are two versions of Shukla Yajurveda. Taittiriya, Kathaka, Maitrani and Kapisthala are four versions of Krishna Yajurveda. It exists in two versions, whereas Krishna Yajurveda exists in four versions. Teachers are called Vajasneyi in Shukla Yajurveda, whereas teachers are called Tetraini in Krishna Yajurveda. Shukla Yajurveda has separate Brahman text, the Shatpat Brahman, whereas Krishna Yajurveda includes the Brahman prose discussions within the Samhita. It has no Brahman. The term white implies the well arranged and clear Yajurveda. The term black implies the unarranged collection of verses. Samved. The Samved is derived from the root saman, that is melody. It is a collection of melodies and it contains the rhythmic compilation of hymns of Rigved. The Samved, or the Ved of the holy songs, rank third in the usual order of enumeration of the Vedas, but in sanctity and liturgical importance it is next to Rigved. It contains hymns of devotion taken mostly from Rigved. It is also called the Book of Chants. The origin of Indian music is traced to it. It is also called as the Book of Praise or Storehouse of Knowledge of Chants. It is a mixture of poetry and verse. Samved was compiled between 1000 BC to 600 BC. The Samved is important in tracing the history of Indian music. It consists of 1545 unique verses taken from Rigved, except for 75 which are new. Its Samhita or metrical portion consists chiefly of the hymns to be chanted by Udgatra priest at the performance of any sacrifice in which the juice of the soma plant is mixed with milk and other ingredients and offered to various deities. It has three shakhas or recensions: Kauthuma, Panchvish Brahman, Jaiminiya Brahman, Ravayaniya, Shadvish Brahman. Gandharved in Samved's Upved is a technical treatise on music, dance and drama. Bharat Natya Shastra is based upon Gandharved. It is divided into 1000 sections. If you found the video to be informative and interesting, I request you all to please like the video to motivate me, share it for others and subscribe it so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get a notification. There is no exact date when the compilation of Samved hymns was done, nor as to who has composed it. It was deemed unnecessary in the early times when the Aryans first invaded India, but was required for guidance and use after their expansion and settlement in their new homes. Atharvaved. Atharvaved is entirely different from the other three Ved and is chronologically the last of the four. For a very long time, it was not included in the category of the Vedas. It is important and interesting as it describes the popular belief and superstition of the humble folk. It contains the magical charms and spells in verses to ward off diseases and evils. It was compiled between 1000 to 600 BC. Atharvan was a legendary rishi and is considered to have sung the Atharvaved. He is also said to have first instituted the fire sacrifice or yag. It is also called as Brahmaved. It is divided into 20 books, kands, and has 711 hymns and a collection of 5987 mantra. The Atharvaved is composed in Vedic Sanskrit. Atharvaved was mainly composed by two groups of rishis known as Atharvans and the Agniras. Hence, its oldest name is Atharvagniras. It is the knowledge storehouse of Atharva as the procedure for everyday life. There are two surviving recensions or shakhas known as Sonakya and Palda. Gopatha Brahman is the Brahman of Yajurveda. There are three Upanishads, that is Prasanna, Mundaka and Mandukya. Satyamev Jayate, India's motto, comes from Mandukya Upanishad. Kenneth Ziesk says the text is one of the oldest surviving record of the evolutionary practices in religious medicine and reveals the earliest forms of folk healing of Indo-European antiquity. Mundaka Upanishad and Manduk Upanishad are embedded in the Atharvaveda. Each Veda has its own Samhita and commentary. Book 20 contains the largest number of verses, that is 158, and Book 17 has only 103 verses. It primarily deals with medical science. Thank you very much for patiently watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe.